Before 10,000 cycles, the Aurelian Empire had expanded without resistance. Star systems fell into compliance not through battle but inevitability. Imperial historians called it destiny. Admirals called it efficiency. No civilization had ever slowed their advance, much less challenged it. By the time Imperial Command received reports of unexplored human space along the outer spiral arm, the matter was considered routine. Another border. Another absorption. Another species quietly folded into the Empire's endless hierarchy. High Strategos Varn stood before the holographic star map, his gilded armor catching the glow of conquered systems. Humans, he said, tasting the word with mild disdain. Single planet origin. Fragmented political history. Excessive diplomacy. They trade. They negotiate. They avoid conflict. The chamber echoed with polite amusement. Intelligence assessments painted humans as cooperative, even deferential. Their envoys smiled often. Their diplomats spoke carefully. They objected to Imperial patrols in their space, but never escalated. Each protest ended the same way, with a formal note and no retaliation. To the Empire this was not restraint. It was weakness. Imperial Command authorized a presence operation. No invasion. No declaration. Just fleets entering human space to establish authority. The first wave met no resistance. Human outposts powered down weapons. Traffic lanes cleared. Civilian ships rerouted themselves away from Imperial warfleets as if eager to avoid inconvenience. This species understands its place, Varn concluded. A single human transmission reached Imperial Command. Come. Polite. Recorded. You are operating within sovereign human territory. We advise withdrawal. Continued escalation may lead to consequences. The message was archived and forgotten. Imperial doctrine taught that true powers projected dominance early. The humans did not. They waited. Imperial fleets moved deeper, dismantling monitoring stations, seizing orbital platforms, rewriting maps. Human protests continued, formal, measured, endlessly patient. Inside Imperial Command, concern never surfaced. Concern was for empires that struggled. The Aurelian Empire did not struggle. It advanced. Then, without warning, long-range sensors began to fail. Not jammed. Not destroyed. Simply silent. Communication delays spread across sectors. Patrol fleets reported navigation errors in supposedly stable space. Engineers blamed cosmic anomalies. Admirals blamed incompetence. No one blamed humans. After all, the humans still hadn't fired a single shot. Imperial Command mistook the quiet for surrender. They would soon learn it was something else entirely. The first sign of disaster was absence. Imperial sensors did not detect incoming fleets. There were no warp signatures, no hyperspace ruptures, no warning flares. One moment, the outer sectors were empty. The next, space itself seemed crowded. Human warships appeared simultaneously across dozens of systems. They did not arrive screaming from hyperspace or tearing reality open. They simply materialized. As if they had always been there, waiting just beyond perception. Thousands of vessels. Then tens of thousands. Formation perfect. Silent. Imperial Command froze. No weapons fire detected, an officer reported, voice unsteady. No energy buildup. They're just there. Strategos Varn demanded explanations. None came. Imperial fleets scrambled into defensive posture, but the human ships did not advance. They held position, surrounding Imperial armadas with geometric precision. Every escape vector closed. Every strategic lane occupied. Then came the message. This is the Human Defense Accord, the transmission said, voice level, almost gentle. You have crossed our final boundary. Imperial Command attempted to assert authority, broadcasting demands, threats, declarations of overwhelming force. The human ships did not respond. Instead, space around the Imperial fleets began to behave incorrectly. Engines failed without damage. Power systems shut down without overloads. Shield generators remained intact but useless, as if disconnected from reality itself. Entire battle groups drifted, helpless, surrounded by silent human vessels. Strategos Varn felt something unfamiliar tighten his chest. Fire, he ordered. Imperial weapons discharged, plasma, antimatter, focused stellar beams. They struck nothing. Human ships absorbed the attacks without visible shields, without deflection. The energy simply vanished as though space had been instructed not to deliver it. Then the humans demonstrated restraint. Not annihilation. Restraint. Imperial ships were disabled with surgical precision. Crews remained alive. Hulls remained intact. Fleets that once symbolized terror now floated powerless, systems dormant, command chains severed. A second message followed. We warned you. You mistook patience for incapacity. Imperial Command finally understood the scale of error. This was not a reaction. It was execution of a plan centuries in preparation. Humans had mapped Imperial doctrine, fleet movements, response times. They had waited until every fleet that mattered was within reach. Still, the humans did not finish it. They waited. That waiting was worse than any attack. Panic spread faster than any weapon. Across the Empire, governors demanded reinforcements that could not arrive. Admirals issued orders to fleets that could no longer move. Communication relays failed as human ships quietly occupied them, not destroying, just controlling. Imperial Command attempted diplomacy. Emergency envoys were dispatched, their messages rushed, unpolished, desperate. The humans responded to every one. Calmly. Patiently. We seek no extermination, the humans said. We seek correction. Correction was a word the Empire had never applied to itself. Human fleets advanced, not toward planets but toward infrastructure. Shipyards went dark. Command nexuses shut down. Logistics hubs ceased functioning. The Empire's vast machinery simply stopped, piece by piece without violence. Entire regions fell silent. The most terrifying realization came when analysts noticed something worse. Human fleets were not concentrated. They were everywhere. Systems previously believed untouched now revealed hidden human presence. Listening posts. Observation platforms. Ships embedded in gravitational shadows. They had been watching for a very long time. Strategos Varn addressed the council in person, his voice stripped of arrogance. We misjudged them. Their diplomacy was not weakness. It was discipline. Too late. Internal revolts erupted as client species realized the Empire could no longer protect, or punish, them. Alliances dissolved overnight. Worlds declared neutrality. Some openly welcomed human oversight. The humans did not interfere. They let the Empire unravel itself. Only once did a human fleet engage lethally. A single Imperial battle group attempted to fire on a civilian evacuation corridor. The response was immediate and absolute. The battle group ceased to exist in less than a second, erased so cleanly that sensors struggled to confirm it had ever been there. The message that followed was cold. We are not merciful when you endanger the innocent. After that, no Imperial ship fired again. Imperial Command issued a final broadcast acknowledging loss of authority. There was no surrender ceremony. No treaty signing. The Empire did not fall in flames or glory. It simply stopped mattering. Human fleets maintained position, enforcing stability, preventing chaos. They rebuilt trade routes. Reopened corridors. Protected worlds the Empire had exploited for millennia. They did not claim territory. They did not crown themselves rulers. They let history do the rest. In the centuries that followed, scholars struggled to define the moment the Aurelian Empire ended. There was no decisive battle. No capital destroyed. No emperor executed. Records showed no final scream, only silence. Humanity offered no victory speeches. Their diplomats returned to smiles and measured words, but no one mistook them now. The galaxy had seen what waited behind that calm. New interstellar law emerged, shaped quietly by human standards. Sovereignty became sacred. Civilian protection absolute. Expansion without consent forbidden. Every major decision carried a single human question. What happens if patience runs out? Former Imperial species remembered the day the Warfleets appeared. Parents told their children about the moment space filled with silent ships and the Empire realized it was prey. Veterans spoke of the fear, not of death but of judgment. Humans did not hunt. They corrected. And they only corrected once. A memorial now floats where Imperial Command once stood. No statues. No inscriptions of glory. Only a simple marker recorded in every known language. Power that shouts is afraid. Power that waits is certain. The human warfleets eventually withdrew, melting back into the dark as seamlessly as they had arrived. But their presence never truly left. Sensors still occasionally detect impossible readings. Shadows where nothing should be. Proof that humanity is still watching. Patiently. The Empire crumbled without a trace because by the time it understood the truth, there was nothing left to fight. And no one in the galaxy has ever forgotten that day.